Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Eric here, and welcome to Rebels Recap Episode 2. For this episode, we're going to be recapping Spark of Rebellion, the first official episode of Star Wars Rebels. The official description of this episode is, "It is a dark time, the Jedi are no more, and the Empire rules the galaxy with an iron fist, bringing tyranny to the Outer Rim world of Lothal. Their ominous presence is a cloud over the planet, squashing any hope of freedom or a better life, especially for 14-year-old orphan Ezra Bridger. But the young con artist soon finds that destiny has other plans for him, as he encounters a small band of rebels who dare to strike back against the Empire." Those are some great words right there. I love this episode. We get to meet... Well, we don't get to meet. We get to see Ezra actually interacting with the crew. We get to see him use the Force, but at its early stages. We get to... I don't know. I love pilots. This is a great pilot. Now, the villains. Now, the villains are some... Well, the one villain that we get to see in this episode, really, who really shines, is Agent Kallus. And Agent Kallus is an agent for the ISB, and that means that he was trained to fight against off these rebels. But later on, or I should say, at the end of this episode, we get to meet the Inquisitor. Well, technically, we don't get to meet him at the end, but in the ABC Prologue edition, we get to meet him at the beginning, but only for some time. More on that in a couple of episodes. Now, with this episode, we see the rebels banding together, and we get to see a lot of what would become of the Rebel Alliance, which is an alliance. So, with this episode, we get to see... Yeah, we get to see the rebels standing up for a big thing, which is freedom. And I like it. I think that is perfect. Now, what I said on my last video about them, or specifically Zeb, actually fighting off bullies, which were the stormtroopers, I love that. I think Ezra is a great person to do that. We get to see some of Ezra's personality more in this episode. We get to see some more personality. Yeah. I feel like that this episode really does stand out compared to every other episode, because it is the first episode, technically, besides the prelude episodes. Now, what else do I want to talk about? I want to talk about how... Yeah, I just hope that Season 2's first episode really, like, overshoots this, because there's the bar. Now, Season 2 has to top that. I think they can do this. They can most definitely do this. Oh, what else? I want to talk about how Obi-Wan is. I like how James Arnold Taylor comes back as Obi-Wan. I hope that they bring more people from the Clone Wars in. More on that later in this little series. That's all for now. I feel like that's all I have to say. Oh, also, with this episode we get to see Kessel for the first time, which is a planet that has been directly mentioned in Star Wars Episode 4, but we technically never got to see a canonized version of this. So the Kessel that we get to see now is the canonized version. It's the end of our episode, folks, and you know what that means. It's time for an advertisement for 1138. Now, if you want to see us on Mixlr for our 24-hour streaming of Star Wars, it's Mixlr, okay? If you want to support the channel in any way possible, go on to our Patreon. You get t-shirts, people, t-shirts for everyone that pays $10 or more. That's all. See you all next week.